Okay. What do you anticipate as your career choice as of today? Okay. And as you think about that, one of the things that I want you guys to process is this might not be the end goal. I mean, if I wrote a paper like this today or when I was your age, it wouldn't have materialized. So it's basically where are we at today and why do you feel that way? Okay. So there's some general kind of simplistic things that you have to have. And again, these are all college-based expectations. 12-point font, 1-inch margins, double spaced. There's going to be 2 pages of sections 2, 3, and 4, a half page of sections 1, 5, and 6. Now, these are just guidelines. If you're under by a little or over by a little, don't freak out. If you're under by a lot, that's an issue. Um, so keep that in mind. This isn't an issue because you're not going to be turning it in paper form. And we'll talk about due dates in a minute. And then you'll notice here it says resume. So this is a separate piece that's included in this end product. And to me, a very important aspect of you guys. How many of you have a resume right now already? Nobody? One? Okay. So the resume, and I'll show you a couple of samples. The resume is simply there for you to start to build. So what you're doing here is it's something you create now, and then as you have more work experiences, you add to it. Okay. And that it's just a nice thing to have. So these are the sections. So up here it says sections 2, 3, 4, sections 1, 5, 6. So these are the sections. So this is 1, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now there's some um, technicalities in here as far as complex stuff goes. There's some relatively simple things in here. The real key to this is specifically in 2, 3, and 4 is taking the information that we've talked about in class and applying it to your decision making around this your original thought about what your career choice is. Okay. um, so I can throw out just a few examples of this. So underneath strategies and approaches, we might say, well, during the strengths finder test that we did at the beginning, I found myself to be in the compassionate group, and for that reason I'm looking at social work, and these are some other things that have played in. So the point is you're digging back into certain parts. Okay. So I'm just going to anticipate. I'm going to take Kelsey as an example. Um, Kelsey liked the information on ACEs. She has an interest in student mental health. So potentially she ties in some of those things to her career choice. Maybe not, maybe yes, maybe no, whatever. And even if you do, let's say you went into music, for example, how would you tie those things in to a career choice in teaching, even though it might not be directly related to mental health in that situation? Okay. So there's some complexity in here, and I will be super honest with you. I have not reworded any of this except for the month of March, because when it came from the college, it said the month of December or something like that. So this part has been what it's always been. Okay. Um, when you look at this, and then if you go back up here, it talks a little bit like a research question. Okay. And this is where people get a little bit hung up, like, what is the research question? Well, the research question is, what is my career choice? Okay. And from that, you say, this is my answer, and these are the research, this is the kind of compilation of information I put together to get to that point. Okay. So back down to this section here. Um, Again, 2, 3, and 4 are the major pieces. Okay. 1, 5, and 6 are pretty straightforward. They're kind of a longer paragraph. Um, Establishing the research question, establishing kind of what it is that you really want to accomplish and why, and then when you look at number 5, it talks about what is my career decision, and then kind of where do I see myself going in my near future, and then why do I think this is happening? Okay, and then the last piece just talks about a reflection of did I fully engage in the steps here? And obviously, I think in this section you can discuss a little bit of how this spring obviously varied from other springs. You can tie in the whole distance, you can tie in whatever you feel you need to here if there's any like tweaks to what you might have thought earlier, kind of to what you think today, that kind of thing, and how distance learning has impacted that. You can include that in this as well. Okay, now from my side of this, there's absolutely no judgment on what career you pick. So if you choose to be a zookeeper, I'm cool with that because some of you have hats on that would work for zookeeping. No, maybe just Gus. But you're not gonna, you're not gonna get a lower grade if there we go. There's another hat. If you're a chimney sweep, like Kelsey might be, um, you guys decide kind of what you want. And there's absolutely no like, oh, well, I can't believe they're not picking education. That's not the point of this in any way, shape, or form. So super important to understand that idea. So if I'm just thinking, Mauricio's not in here, but let's say, Gus, if you want to go into something besides teaching, there's no negative impact on that. That's just kind of where we are today. Does that make sense? Okay, so far, give me a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 means I really get this. 1, I'm struggling. I see 4s and 5s and 3s and okay, perfect. Okay, so one of the things that I want to make sure you see in this process is there's some pretty clear like things for this. So the next section of this talks about, and actually this is part of the reflection piece, but you can pick any of these questions. So what of this process meant the most to me? What steps did I go? I probably should have paid more attention to, but I didn't. What will I do differently when I'm actually there myself? And you can pick some of these questions in your self-reflection. Okay. All right. Then for some reason, I bounced this way down, so it's actually on the next page, but I wanted this rubric to fit on one page. So I'm going to back this up so you can see kind of the whole thing at first. So this is a rubric that I've messed around with a little bit just to make it a little bit cleaner. But you can kind of see how this works. So the paper itself, it has 6 sections. That's the first part. The writing is focused, clear, with sources of all findings cited. So you are going to do in-text citation on this as you see something. And again, if it's a direct quote, you can quote it. If it's a concept, we do parentheses at the end of the concept. Okay, again, formal writing here. Your conclusions are well-founded and logical. Okay, so make sure whatever conclusions you have, they tie into what your original preference was. Sentence and paragraph construction, grammar, spelling. You can kind of see how this breaks down, this being the top end over here, and then working its way back. If you don't have some sort of grammar detection device on your writing, Grammarly or something like that, please put that in before you get at this paper. I'm assuming you already have that. So, and then lastly, this piece is, again, your ability to reference what we've learned in class to what your concept is with this paper. Okay. So you can see this out. If you play this out, there's 5 sections in here, each of them with a max of 10 points. So the whole piece is 50 points. Okay. Give me like a nod that you're kind of with me still. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about some resources for you along the way. So I put in 2 sample papers in here, and you have the ability to take a peek at both of these at any time. I'm not going to tell you what the grades on these papers were because that's not the issue, but I think this really helps with just kind of a layout of the paper, okay? As you go through them, I tried to remove the names, but there might be a name or two in here. But you can just kind of see the structure of them. Obviously, I don't, we're real here. We're not going to be copying this material, but I wanted you to see kind of how they lay out and how they formatted them. Okay. And again, you can just see the different lengths of each paragraph setting. There doesn't need to be, somebody asked me before, do I need to have different headings for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? You can, but you may want to just build those kind of headings into your kind of entry sentence to each section. If you feel more comfortable actually setting up these as headings, you are very well to do that if you want to. Okay. Um, so there's 2 sample papers in here that you can take a look at. And then I also put in a resume sample. Now this one has a name on it. I did get approval on this, so it's not a big deal, but this happens to be Kira's from last year. And what we did with her resume, actually, she modeled this off of a scholarship application resume that my daughter made when she graduated. And the point of it was to really highlight how much time you spend in higher level stuff. So this happens to be um, what kind of rigorous courses. This happens to be volunteer and extracurriculars. I mean, she just kind of laid out everything that she does and has done in her lives up to this point. And the goal of this, very simply, is to have a place where you have everything laid out that when you go to apply for a job, you might be picking pieces of each of these in order to in order to fulfill whatever specifics you might need for a job or a scholarship. Now, Gus, I'm going to assume that when you did your scholarship apps this year, that you had to attach some form of a resume to a bunch of them, right? Yeah. So this is one of those that you underclassmen. The rest of you can use this as you go forward, but it's actually a great tool to have if you haven't built one before. Okay. Um, And yeah, I guess that's it. So that has all the info in there. Okay. So let's do a couple of questions and then I want to show you a calendar. So what do we got? Anything that just comes to your brain right now that you're kind of curious about, you're confused about, any of those kind of things?
Since I already have a resume, can I just use that one, or do I have to make like a new one?
No, you can use the one you already have. I would just make it as up to date and current as possible. And
Yes.
the resume format, this is really important. The format that I showed you, it doesn't have to be that format. Okay. Uh, I just had students last year asking me, what are some good ways to do this? You can go online and go resume templates, click, 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 and you can find it. When I brought in Danielle's to class, and I just showed it to them, one of the things that they just thought was it really laid out especially for scholarship purposes, what the things are that are really important. So, okay, so that
I
would be
am
that.
able to use the one you showed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, make it your own, but yeah,
Mm.
yep, yeah. And I mean, again, y- resumes are always kind of built to how do I say this? They're built to fit what you're trying to get. So, for example, I think Kira is using this one for scholarship apps and things like that, because one of the things in scholarship apps is it asks you for what your level of experience, volunteer, all those things are laid out. If you're applying for a job, might be totally different, or applying for college. We took that one of Danielle's with us when we went to register for classes, and it laid it out very clearly as to like which college classes she took and which ones she didn't have to take in college. So it just kind of, you can decide kind of what that is. Obviously, when you're my age, a resume is more about work experience. Um, when you are your age, it's more about just the extra stuff that you do. That's what people look for. So you can decide. But yeah, you can use that template if you want. You might want to modify it a little bit, and we've got tables built into that one. But again, just kind of lay it out the way you think you see it, and also involve your parents in your resume as well. Like, show it to them, talk to them about it. Most parents have had to do resumes, and so have them kind of say, okay, what are the other things we might want to look at? And if you have more questions about that, I'd be happy to share mine with you as well. I always update my resume probably once a year, just in case something comes up that I need to get it to somebody for. So mine is pretty much current right now, and I could share that with you too. If it's a completely different look than the one that I showed you with Kira. So okay. Other questions? Mara, you feeling okay about? You had a 3 up before, so I just want to make sure. Is there something specific that you were confused about, or?
You covered everything that I was so confused about.
Okay. Okay. So I want to show you one other thing related to deadlines and timelines. I want to talk to you a little bit about this, and I'm willing to be flexible on this, but we just got to lock something down here so we're really clear on kind of where we're going forward with this. So I'm going to bring up a calendar here, so bear with me here for a second, and kind of show you what I think we're going to play out here. So can everybody see that okay? Okay, so we are here today. I need to move some stuff around here. On the 11th. It is the last day for seniors. I'm guessing is the 22nd. Is that right, Gus? I don't know. Does that sound right? And I would like this class to be done then. I don't want to. We don't need to trickle this into the next week for you underclassmen. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to move this over. Okay, that if you start today, okay, or whenever you start, maybe tomorrow, by Saturday, I would like you to add your paper, not done yet, but I'd like you to add it to Google Classroom. So what I mean by that is I'm going to have a space in there to turn in your paper. You're going to click the add button and select your paper, and you're not going to turn it in. You following me? Okay, by doing that, I have the ability to see it, but I'm not grading anything. Okay? Then also, somewhere in the weekend, I would love for you to have a review by a classmate. Okay, so we can decide how we're going to do this, but my gut feeling, just for comfort level, would be that Gus and Mauricio would do theirs, and maybe you 3 girls could just do a 3-person rotation with you 3. Does that make sense to you? Or 4? Who am I missing? Oh yeah, Sam. So we could, Sam, you're not on my screen right now, Sam, sorry. So we could do however you guys want to do it. I mean, I just want a peer review and I don't want anybody left out. So you guys can decide how that you think that fits the best. If you want me to assign it, I would definitely do that. I don't, I think you guys are good enough to figure that out. Okay. All right. Then the next week on Wednesday would be the due date. Okay, so final papers due by, I have it here at midnight. And then Thursday, we would get together on a video chat. I have it set at 1 o'clock to wrap everything up. I'm going to have you guys do a short summary of kind of your career choice and maybe 1 or 2 points you picked up on as a group. And then we would be done next Thursday, the 21st. And then obviously it'll take me a day or 2 to get them all graded and read, whatever, but maybe I'll do them. I might do them this night, depending on what time they come in. Thoughts? You feel like that gives you enough time? Go ahead.
I'm gonna be gone starting on the 21st. I'm not coming back till Monday.
So you're gone for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm going fishing up north,
Okay.
and there's no internet.
Yeah. Okay, so what I might have you do, Kels, is just record your section ahead of time. Like, I'll give you some parameters. It's gonna be really easy. It's gonna be like a 2-minute bit. Okay, so you would just on a video record, you'd say, "My name is Kelsey Sagehorn. This is." I'll type it up for you, so it's not okay. And then when we meet that day, I'll just play your thing for everybody, and then I can record it so that people know what's going on. Okay. I don't want to do that just because, but if you already have some pre-plans going on, and part of the rationale, I was looking at the 22nd, but I'm actually going to be out of town on the 22nd, so I'm trying to wrap some stuff up here on the 21st if possible. Does that make sense? Okay, I see a thumbs up from Jordan. Sam, you good? Mara, good. Gus, we good? Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is, and the reason that I put in this add your capstone on the 16th, so that's by Saturday, is an important aspect of you not procrastinating this till the very end. Okay. Sam, you're smiling about procrastination, right? What I will do sometime, probably Sunday-ish, is I'm going to go in and take a look at your paper as well, and might just give you some feedback here and there, just little things, nothing grade-wise, but just kind of I'm going to pre-read them a little bit and make a few comments. Okay? Okay. Questions? So you basically got, like, we'll call it 8 or 9 days. 9 days. Okay? To write an 8-page paper. All right? Questions for me? Whoop. Sorry. Anything? We're good? Yeah? Okay. So I'm recording this for Mauricio. He had another engagement right now. I'm not really sure about Raimundo. If anybody sees him, I'm trying to get a hold of him still. I've been calling him about every other day. So please let him know if you see him that I need to talk with him. We're all doing great on everything. So we should be good. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Anything? Okay. So we will see one more discussion tomorrow. I just lost somebody at 1 o'clock, and then from there, probably won't talk to you again until a week or so, unless you need something. Sound good? Yes, yes. Okay. Did you just take a picture of me, Jordan? Just kidding. All right. I'm messing with you. Okay. Anything else for me? All right. Well, I look forward to your end products. If there's anything I can do in the meantime, you keep me in the loop, and we're good. We should be good to go. Okay. All right. Kelsey, stay on for about 30 seconds, and the rest of you guys are out. Okay. Okay. There you go. Can you hear me? Okay. Did you forget last week's quiz? The technology one? I just want to make sure I got it right. Do you remember?
I forgot.
Okay,
I forgot to do it.
it's still open. Go do it right now.
Yes, I will.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. See ya.